Recognize Mrs. Barragán from California. Ms. Barragán from California for her 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Donovan, it must be hard for you to sit here and to hear some of the question and answers that are being given by witnesses. Would that be accurate?
Yeah.
What is it about some of the question and answers that makes it difficult for you to sit through? I can tell you that as a legislator, I think about my own family, my community, and say, well, shit, if there was toxic chemicals in my drinking water, I should know about it as a resident. And so just hearing of, well, should you have known? Well, I'm not a toxicologist. Well, that's not our job. It just sounds like we're having the wrong conversation. But what is it for you that makes it frustrating?
I mean, I think this goes back to what I said earlier, is that water utility lobby groups should be the biggest environmental champions known to man. And in the 8 years that I've been doing this, I rarely see them. I see them actively working against us, treating it like it's a business, like water's a commodity. Water is a sacred human basic right. We should be protecting our sources, making them as pristine as possible. We should be keeping them away from industry. We should be recognizing that water utility companies should not be profit centers ever. You know, we bail out farmers because we understand that farmers can't go under. They provide necessary food to us, even though we have abundance of food and we waste it sometimes. Water should be treated the same way. Instead of talking about how we need to shield people from liability because we don't want them to be oversued, why are we not talking about how the federal government can make sure that no water utility of any size ever has to worry about whether they need to make that decision between having clean, safe drinking water or having cheap, toxic water? Like, that is not what we should be talking about right now.
Thank you. Ms. Donovan, sometimes when I've advocated for cleaner water standards or going against polluters, I've been accused of, well, you're from a very Democrat liberal area. Are you from a Democrat liberal area?
No, I live in a red county. I have a lot of diverse friends, and I'll say that there's not a lot we agree on and can talk about, but this is the one area where we have seen the most bipartisan support. You come to my area, you talk about PFAS, everybody knows what you're talking about. You talk about Chemours and DuPont, and everybody's ready to see them go under. Nobody likes DuPont, nobody likes Chemours, and you know what we haven't been talking about today is how are we going to make, there's only 12 PFAS manufacturers in the entire world that are causing this problem. Why are we not talking about how we bring them to the table? You know, DuPont is profiting off of this right now because DuPont sells water filtration. We are allowing DuPont to get away with what they started back in Virginia and in North Carolina. They knew they had the opportunity and the chance to put the controls on, and they chose not to. And here we are, stuck in 7 years of litigation with them just to get them to pay for our drinking water.
Thank you, Ms. Donovan. The Trump EPA has proposed broad exemptions to a PFAS reporting rule that was designed to help understand where PFAS are produced and how they're used. Collecting this information from companies would help EPA regulate PFAS and prevent further contamination. From a community perspective, how important is it that industry be required to disclose where PFAS are used, and what happens to communities when companies are exempt from providing information?
It's not fair because we're all making decisions and they need to be informed decisions. You know, I raised my children on this water, and I worry constantly about the body burden that we expose them to unnecessarily. You know, I worry about any sneeze, any backache, any complaint of an ache or pain. Sometimes when we go out to eat, I will purposely drive out of my way to go to an area where I know the water is safe and clean. I came here, and I don't even know if the water is safe and clean here. I don't even know sometimes what food choices to make at a grocery store, and sometimes I'm afraid to go to a farmer's market in our area because I'm worried that the produce was raised with contaminated tap water or contaminated well water. We need the right to know. It must be fully disclosed. It's the only way that we can have consent, and right to information is recognized by the United Nations as a basic human right.
Well, thank you for your advocacy and for your work and for being a voice, not just for your community, but for those across the country. I know it can be challenging, and so you being here today is very helpful, and thank you for sharing your story. And it's something we should all be advocating for, and making sure we have clean air, clean water, and certainly the ability to not have to question whether we can drink the water. With that, I yield back.